But the way they mistreat Ugandans in Sudan, this is it, right? I'm gonna be straightforward. I'm not gonna even have any filter. I have lived in both countries. I have been raised in both countries. In Uganda, you guys have robbed us. You've stolen our things. You've beaten us. You've killed some of us. You've suspended some of us from schools for just being South Sudanese. You've denied us housings in your country because we are South Sudanese, because you don't like us as South Sudanese. You've segregated us in every aspect. But guess what? We keep shut. Why? Because it is your country. It is Uganda. It's not South Sudan. I have no choice in your country. That's why I decide to shut my mouth. Upon all these things that happen, there's so many that have been killed. But guess what? You will never hear it in news that a South Sudanese child was killed and this and this. No, you won't. It happens. We hear them in our communities. We've attended burials. We've taken bodies back to South Sudan. We hear it in our South Sudanese communities. But it never gets on the news that this and this person has been done this and this and this. This South Sudanese and South Sudanese has been killed. Why? Because you own your media. It is your country. You choose to do whatever thing you want to do in your country. We keep shut. We have no choice. It's your country. So the same way we shut up our mouth and keep silent upon all the bad things that you guys do to us in your country, why don't you also do the same thing? Most of the Ugandans that have died in South Sudan died during war. The Ugandans that have been killed in South Sudan are thieves. The Ugandans have been killed in South Sudan. Instead of working like their fellow Ugandans who are hustling, they choose to go and steal. A thief has no choice until the police comes to help you. You will die in people's hands. That is number one. Number two, if you live in Uganda, behave like Ugandans, respect the Ugandan laws, and be one of them. If you come to South Sudan, behave like a South Sudanese, respect the South Sudanese laws, and be like one of them. Small things like this, little things, you'll find Ugandans making noise. Every time I posted a video about Uganda and South Sudan, it's always these comments. Yes, I have lived in Uganda for over 20 years in this country. I've lived in Uganda for over 20 years. But it's very hard for me to speak ill or nonsense or bad things against the country. You know why? Because a lot of good things have happened to me in that country. I choose to put out the good, not the bad. Why do Ugandans love to focus on the bad thing of something or community or anything? Like Ugandans love to be on the negative and the bad part of something, but they never appreciate the good of something. Most Ugandans, this is one common thing about Ugandans. They don't usually appreciate the good. They love to focus on the negative thing. They complain too much, even over the smallest things. Upon all the bad things that they do to you, South Sudanese in Uganda, we still learn to appreciate your hospitality. We still appreciate and put out the good heart of Ugandans being a nice country, of Uganda being a nice country and a good country. Personally, I've told my friends to visit Uganda. Most of my friends have visited Uganda who are not even Ugandans. But guess what? They've come to Uganda because that's literally my second home. I've been raised in Uganda. Upon all the bad that I've faced in Uganda, I've been segregated, I've been robbed, I've been beaten up, I've been done all these things. The way I'm speaking, these things have been done to me. But I've never come out to say all these things. I have never. I'm always putting out Uganda as a good country, as my second home. Uganda. Let's learn to appreciate the good and turn deaf ears to the bad. Don't let the bad outweigh the good and make it look like the bad is way beyond the good. Uganda abasudani abasinga babeera Uganda tetukolera Uganda, tuliriyo kulya sente zaffe, kusoma na kukola bintu ebirala. Batini nnyo abakolera business e Uganda abasudani. We have less population or less number of South Sudanese that are actually working in Uganda. Most of the South Sudanese that live in Uganda are there living as family, just living their normal life, or they are students but not working there. You understand? 99% of Ugandans that live in South Sudan have gone there to hustle, to look for food, to go and make some money. Nowhere is smooth. Everywhere we have bad and good people. So focus on the good. That's why, look at this. I want Ugandans to look at this situation. I want Ugandans to look at this situation. Most of those that come and tell you South Sudanese are this and this and this and this, they always go back to South Sudan and work there. You will find them, they will come back to Uganda maybe for a holiday or maybe for a week or two or a month. They will tell you, but Sudanese, South Sudanese are like this, South Sudanese are like this. The next statement after all that bad conversation about South Sudan, but I will be leaving back to Juba next week. The same country you just spoke ill about is the same country you want to go back next week. I want us to be honest, like seriously, let's be serious. I never come out to speak ill about Uganda. I never. Because I appreciate the good that Uganda has actually done for me. I'm proud of Uganda more. Like, at some point, I've been proud of Uganda more than South Sudan. Why? Because I have been raised in Uganda. I've lived literally almost all my life in Uganda. So you appreciate the good that you've gotten from somebody or somewhere. Don't focus on the bad. Omuna Uganda agenda kuva Sudan akugamba nti bankoze kino Sudan ne bankola kino Sudan, togenda mubuuza yakoze eki. Now for you you just agree with him nogamba abasudan bantu babi, abasudan kino na kino, kitegeera kwegamba nawo obiyingira muno tekamu ogutwe notandikira abasudan bantu babi kino na kino, notandika ovuma abasudani notekamu obusungu nobakyawa kwegamba like Oyakugambia ebyo bintu against South Sudanese. They've told you all the bad things about South Sudanese. Did you ask them, what did you do? And are you sure what they're telling you is actually the truth? Let's not run into conclusion, man. Ugandans have been there for South Sudanese. South Sudanese have been there for Ugandans. So I don't want... it's always like the small community, or like the bad ones that have had small little bad experience that always come out and say ill about other people, man. Njagala tukozesa amagezi. Kitegeera. Njagala tukozesa amagezi. Njagala tukozesa amagezi. Njagala tukozesa amagezi. Mwitiyisiza bubi e Uganda naye just wakusirika. Kizibu nnyo okusanga omusudani ng'agamba nti bannayuganda kino na kino, bannayuganda ebintu byetisi, because ewaffe engeri gye batukuzizza, you focus mostly on the good that somebody has done for you than the bad. We focus mostly on the good that somebody has done for you. We love to appreciate the good that somebody has done for you, even if it is smaller than the bad. We usually love to put out the good, not the bad. So like kizibu nnyo kusanga omusudani ng'ayomba ng'agamba nti abannayuganda kino nakyo kizibu nnyo. Sinti tebibeerayo just wakusirika. Tusirika busirisi because tetuli waffe. Tetuli waffe. So sagala mudawa ate kino na kino. It has been the same thing. Naye just wakusirika. We keep quiet. And it's like, first do research, face it, and then you can now come out and say the same thing.